Sonic 1 on Master System is the weirdest thing to try and record or stream, because it's got like these multiple... Wow, you guys are in fast. Hey, Lucas. Hey, Sonic. But this game's weird to try and stream or record because it's got like this weird border resolution thing going on. So I'm gonna let you guys actually pick how the stream ends up looking right now. So right now I have the game. Oh, it is the easiest Sonic game for sure. Or nah, Chaos is easier. But anyway, so this is what the game looks like by default. There's obviously the horrible black border, then a smaller blue border around. So obviously I cropped all that out. So what you guys got to decide for me, do you want no border at all, or the blue border that would naturally be there? I'm kind of leaning towards no border because it looks a lot nicer. But yeah, this is the 8-bit version, specifically the Master System version. I'm playing it on a Wii. Well, on a Wii U actually, but I'm going to be importing a copy of Sonic 2 Master System because that game's incredibly expensive otherwise. I'm going to be importing a copy. I'm leaning towards no border too. Yeah, I'm glad everyone agrees with me on that. I just wanted to make sure because some people are big on authenticity. Normally I'd be done with the level by now, but like I'm multitasking. I didn't even know there were speed shoots in this level. Oh boy, Sonic's going pretty quickly. This is a pretty slow Sonic game overall, but speed shoes kind of changed that. Wow, that was pretty speedy. But yeah, so I have the Game Gear version of Sonic 2. It's terrible, but the Master System version is pretty fun from what I've emulated. I don't like emulation for streams or anything, so I have an adapter to run Master System stuff on Genesis, so we're gonna import a copy and do that way. But yeah, Green Hill Zone is actually pretty different in the 8-bit version. The 8-bit version as a whole of Sonic 1 is a completely different game. And honestly, a very good one. I'm a fan of it. But it is a much different kind of game than the Genesis version, I would say. And the level designs are mostly different. There are a couple returning stages from the Genesis version, but there's a lot of fun stuff about this game. For example, Sonic and the sprite for the shield flicker to alternate, so every other frame one of them is on screen. I just think it's a funny effect. This spring here is actually not a normal graphic because the Master System wasn't powerful enough to be able to keep a consistently high frame rate while having a certain amount of objects on screen. So instead, these springs are actually part of the level geometry. They are just placed there as art, which is interesting. We're taking a slight detour here. Anyone who's ever played this game knows exactly what I'm doing, but this is a Chaos Emerald. Pretty obviously. We are going to maybe go for them. I don't remember where they all are. Some of them are like really, really easy. Some of them aren't. You don't get anything for getting the emeralds in this game, so I don't really care. But if I remember where they are, I'll grab them. Like I know I'll get the ones like in Bridge Zone and the one in Jungle Zone and probably Labyrinth Zone. I did not want to go back down. Oops. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the Master System Sonic games. Well, the 8-bit Sonic game in general, because eventually they transitioned to Game Gear. But these games are super cool. And not all of them are good, granted. Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic Chaos, though, I think are all pretty fantastic. While I can go without... Or also Sonic Triple Trouble, which is another great one. I can go without, say, Sonic Blast. Sonic Blast is pretty awful, but... And Labyrinth isn't very good. The Drift games I'm pretty mixed on. The Spinball on the Game Gear is unplayable. But there's a lot of really cool stuff here. So, yeah, it should be a pretty fun time. The special stages in this game are totally optional no matter what you're doing. They're pretty much just to net you extra lives and continues. There's just lots and lots and lots of springs, basically. I like these special stages, actually, though. I like them more than the 16-bit versions. They're fun. They don't really do much, but it's entertaining nevertheless. We could have gotten a continue in there, but I didn't know where it was, and I just didn't care enough. Weirdly enough, in the Master System version of Sonic 1, and all of the Game Gear games actually, you can jump over the signpost and it won't spin until you physically touch it, whereas in the 16-bit games, you do have to, no matter what, if you go past it, it'll spin. So it's just kind of an interesting little thing. If you've only played the Game Gear version of this game, which seems to be a pretty common thing, because everyone's played the Game Gear version of Sonic 1 because it's on SADX and in some of the Mega Collections. Well, specifically in the PS2 and Xbox version of Mega Collection. But certain elements are a little different. The Game Gear version is more polished, but the screen resolution's better in this version, which is why I went with it, because to me that matters a little more. In the Game Gear version, Eggman would be dead by now for me jumping at him like that, because you can hit him just in general because of how bad the screen crunch is. In this version, not quite so much. You have to wait for him to come down to you. I know you can hit him while he's in the air in this version. I've done it. I just don't know the timing for it. Or maybe you can't do it and I'm just crazy. That's also perfectly possible. But yeah, the boss fights here, not too impressive if I'm being honest. They are insanely easy, and that's okay. I really don't mind that. It's going to be a very chill, easy, relaxed stream. Depending on how late the stream runs, I don't see it being more than about an hour. I may do a second stream tonight of Sonic Time Twisted, the fan game. Otherwise, we might just do this and call it a night. I'm not completely sure yet. It just depends. Because it is Thanksgiving tomorrow, and, you know, gotta get up and help. This is one of my favorite levels. I love Bridge Zone, purely for the music, which, if it sounds familiar, probably because you played Sonic Adventure 1. Because Tails' theme in SA1 is a remix of this tune for whatever reason, and that's great, because it's a really good track. So I just discovered that playing this with a Wii Classic Controller Pro, which is how I'm playing it, the R and L buttons are turbo. That's probably for, like, space shooters or something, but, like, why would you need that on Master System games? I don't get it. This level's cool, though. If you can't tell, all the levels, aside from Labyrinth Zone, Green Hill Zone, and Scrap Brain Zone, are just not the same. They're not the same levels as they were on Genesis. We get Bridge Zone, which may as well be more Green Hill Zone, but still, it's cool. It's got nice music and waterfalls. Which I'm a big fan of Bridge Zone. Jungle Zone, and a few more that we'll encounter. Not many more. This game's super short and very easy, but it's good. It's a very fun, if basic platformer, that does feel like an appropriate classic Sonic game in its own unique way. It is pretty one of a kind, because even the other Game Gear games stick a little closer to the Genesis games than this one does, but this game does its own thing, and I really applaud it for that. Stand on the falling bridge thing there, and just jump off at the right time. Bam! Chaos Emerald, which is pretty dope. The next level's a little awkward, though, because it is an auto-scroller, and, why? I'm not sure what the logic was there. Because does anyone actually like auto-scrollers in Sonic? They don't really go together. No one likes auto-scrollers in general, I would think. We'll get to it in a second, because we got another special stage. Again, completely unnecessary, because, they don't really do anything, except for extra lives and continues, but I'm not complaining. There's a continue monitor, so just bounce under it, and then bounce on top of it afterwards. So, pretty good stuff. For anyone who is interested in getting Sonic games right now, Steam is having Black Friday week sales, and some pretty great sales on Sonic stuff. I'm going to grab the PC version of Mania tonight so I can do some Sonic modding videos, or streams rather, in the future. Trying to get the extra life. There we go. But they got Forces on sale for like $10. Mania on sale for like 10 with the DLC. So if you're a Sonic fan and you don't have these games on Steam, now's a really good time to get them. I think Lost World was on sale too, but, you know, who cares? I like Lost World a lot, but it's not a game people are really going out of their way to play, you know what I mean? The jump sound sounds almost identical to the Genesis games, but the other sound effects are all these very nice 8-bit approximations. I love the sound design of the 8-bit Sonic games. They have a distinct sound effects. They don't sound exactly the same. I like how they sound. It pleases me. Sonic is a tiny little boy in this game, though, in terms of his sprite size, which is cool. I'm not complaining. But it's kind of interesting. This is also, in my opinion, the best controlling of the original run of handheld Sonic games. I know this isn't the handheld version, but that does exist. It was on Game Gear. And to me, this is the best controlling of them. I love the way Sonic's physics work in this game. It's a little bit stiffer than the Genesis games, but to me, it's like super appropriate for the level design, since it's all very platformy. Just grab some rings while we have to wait to get across the bridge. The arrow monitors with the downward pointing arrow, that's a checkpoint. They have those instead of the flagpoles in a few of the Game Gear games, which is how I'm going to refer to this, even though it's not the Game Gear version, and the Game Gear version came later. It's just, to me, like, I grew up on collections and compilations and Sonic Adventure DX. Like, to me, this will always be the Game Gear version, even though this isn't the Game Gear version. Also, I love that waterfall. Just, I don't know what it is about it. I really like how it looks. But yeah. This music is fantastic, too. Bridge Zone is one of my favorite Sonic tracks. In fact, this is one of my favorite Sonic soundtracks of all time, period. I think the 8-bit Sonic games had some incredible music, and this is my favorite of those soundtracks, I think. I love this soundtrack so much. It could be nostalgia talking, but it's really good. Not super good whenever you just run and place and roll, but still. It is kind of weird to me how Sonic stays on screen until after the little sign bowl cutscene transition thing is done. Obviously, in other games, you run off screen, but it's whatever. We're getting a lot of special stages, considering I wasn't trying to get special stages. So again, I don't actually remember where all the Chaos Emeralds are, so I don't really know if I'm going to go for them. Like, some of the other games, when I get to them, like, in terms of the handheld ones, I will absolutely get them. Triple Trouble I will, at least I'll try to. Chaos I will, because otherwise that stream is only going to be like 40 minutes long. And that's pretty much it, honestly. Like, I don't know when we'll get to Sonic Blast, but I know that one I won't bother because the special stages in that game are like horrifying and horrible and bad. That was a terrible string of words. I'm very unimpressed with myself for that. Sonic 2 Game Gear, I don't know if I'll get the special stages in that game because maybe I want Tails to die, although I think it actually does lock off content. I'll have to practice at that game before I stream it. Whereas like this, I haven't played the 8-bit version of Sonic 1 in forever, so. Oof. So you don't ever have rings going into the Eggman fights in this game. They will just kill you. Which is obviously not ideal, especially when you're live, because I don't really want to have to start the game over. So you have to like play it really safe, like all the time. Unlike that, that's why the special stages come in handy to get continues. For the most part, the Eggman fights in this game are pathetic. This one is also pathetic. I'm just being really paranoid about it because Eggman's hitbox in this game isn't as reactive to Sonic bouncing. He'll fall through him and get hit by things that you're nowhere near. We're going to do Time Twisted tonight. Actually, yeah. Assuming I do a second stream again, I'm not 100% on it. I'll know by the end of this stream. At the rate this is going, probably for sure going to do Time Twisted. But yeah, Time Twisted is the planned other game. Yeah, see, this is what you want to have happen. Just bounce off of him. If you stay in the middle, you'll usually just dodge the shots. But that's what you don't want to have happen, which was what I was avoiding. Just always 8 hits against Eggman in the classic games, and this game's no exception. It's 8 hits. But for some reason, I was timing out for a 3rd hit against him there, like 9, because that's how it is for the other sets. You have to hit him 3 times, because the most you can hit him. I'm so good at video games, everybody. It is a talent, I know. I should really get an award for, like, worst Sonic streamer 2018. Just in terms of, like, my ability to complete Sonic games. Like, I get through them. I beat them. But never very successfully. Oh, well. The similarities to the, Genesis game here are actually impressive given the hardware. Like, visually, this looks great, because the Master System was just a very visually capable not handheld console. The Game Gear, in turn, is a very capable handheld. We're heading into another one of my favorite levels, music-wise. That map screen's pretty neat. I'd accidentally skipped it, though. But no, one of the things I really, truly love about the 8-bit games, especially this one, is taking the elements of the Genesis games and just crunching them down to fit the hardware of the Master System or the Game Gear, depending on which version you're playing, because, you know, it's an 8-bit system, obviously much more powerful than the NES. The NES could never pull this game off. There are attempts. There's, like, Somari and stuff, but obviously those are pirated games, so I can't really speak to them as, like, being comparable. But, like, regardless, this part's very Mario 2, don't you think? This is why I like the way Sonic controls so much in this game. I know people complain that it's a little stiff, but there's a lot of just very basic Mario-esque platforming, and the controls really do feel about right for what you're doing. I also like the fact that there's a current here. Like, it's just neat to me. But no, something I always liked was how these games are very, very good at taking mechanics from the Genesis games and just sort of scaling them down. I think the Chaos Emerald is... If it's in this level, it's nearby, because there's going to be a log we have to ride, but I don't remember if it's in this level or the next stage. I don't know, let's jump down there and find out. Worst case, we die and I get angry. You can always watch the archive, you know. Some of my archives have been doing... Yeah, it's over here. We have to run on this log. Some of the stream archives have been doing kind of well. Like the Sonic 4 stream is at like... I forget how many views now, but it's way more than it has any right to have, I think. I think we can actually just ride this onwards through the level for a bit, which is pretty funny. Yeah. How far can we go with the log without having to actually do anything? I like Sonic's running animation in this version. It's very funny because his feet are like a perfect circle. Well, I kind of want the checkpoint, so let's place our log here. Hit that checkpoint and then continue on in our merry logging adventure. Yeah, that'll be the farthest we can go. Cool. There's a whole little path set up just for if you rode the log. See, that's good level design. This game does have mostly pretty competent level design. Pretty easy level design, granted. You know, being able to skip the whole thing by running on a log and whatnot, but the camera placement is a big issue I have with this game, though. Sonic gets too far to the right of the screen in particular. It's pretty irksome. But yeah. I like Sonic's sprite in the 8-bit games in general, except the Game Gear version of this game where he doesn't have a nose. It's really creepy. Like, I just never liked that sprite. Also, I think these are the first appearance of flippers in a Sonic game, see? Like, very much like Casino Night Zone. Except these don't really function well, but the idea is still the same, and I think that's pretty neat. Sonic, get out of the bumper, thank you. I'm pretty sure bumpers actually only appear in special stages, but again, it's using an element from the main version of this game, being the Genesis version, obviously, and implementing it in a way that is basically the same mechanically, just in a different setting, and I think that's super good. That's another continue. Again, I'm trying to rake in those as much as I can because I don't really trust myself going forward. Easy game means I'm going to screw up a lot. Difficult game I'll probably do better at. That's generally how it goes for me whenever I'm doing anything with an audience at all, so... Yeah, that map is cool. I dig it. It's a little off-center in the stream because it and the title screen are actually centered around the border. Like, the border is a natural part of them, but then in-game, everything's off-center and weird. It doesn't show up on a CRT, if I had to guess. It's probably like a lot of NES games where it's a scaling thing. That it's rendered in the hardware, but doesn't show up. This level is a lot easier on the Game Gear version, because if we go down where the screen is scrolled, we're dead. This whole area is very much like an old Contra or Castlevania game, which isn't exactly great, obviously. I'm not sure why it's like this, but it is, so I'm being very careful about where I jump and what I do, because we don't want to scroll the screen too far, without having, like, our next jump already planned. I know this level actually causes headaches for people. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Ideally, we would have just gone down a little bit and landed on a platform, but instead we perished. The background here, I know people consider quite the eyesore. I agree, it's gross, but I don't think it's like, you know, gonna cause motion sickness or anything. It's just a very average, gross 8-bit waterfall background. But I do wish you didn't have to play most of the stage in front of it. I like the idea, though. Like, ascending up a waterfall. That's pretty neat. It's just, you know, it's not super Sonic-y. It's a little bit more, Mario-esque, I guess. Which kind of fits a lot of the platforming in this game, being more Mario-esque. But, yeah, I don't know. It always struck me as kind of odd that this level is in this game, just because it's not a very Sonic-y thing to do. I thought we had to jump there. I was incorrect. Yeah, so even if there was a platform there, which I think there was, because I thought I saw it on screen, I could be wrong. If it's below what the game considers to be, like, ground that is currently running on screen, you're just dead. And other stages don't have this, obviously. The, underwater, or underground Green Hill Zone level, we could scroll the screen down. So it's not like it's just a thing with the game's engine or, coding or anything. It is completely a design choice for this stage in particular, and I'm Not a huge fan. It's not hard, really, at all. It's just, you have to take your time a little bit, and I don't like taking my time in Sonic games. To me, if I'm playing Sonic, I'm like, let's go as quickly as I possibly can. We are actually rapidly progressing through this game. We're only 20 minutes into the stream, and we are at the 3rd zone boss out of, I think, 6 or 7 zones. So that's not super impressive in terms of game length, but honestly, I'm kind of fine with that. Again, as a console game, it's a little lackluster, but this game was also a handheld game, and as a handheld game, that's a pretty good length. This boss is pretty irritating on the Master System version because he drops these balls. Obviously, any contact with them, you'll die. It's not difficult. It just means you have to like time your jumps a little more carefully, which is fine. In the 8-bit version, he doesn't even get a chance to do anything. He just kind of dies because, again, he's much closer to the ground in the Game Gear version because all the sprites are larger to accommodate for the smaller screen size. That didn't touch me. That was unfair and terrible. But anyway, the screen size is being completely different, and this game running at a much higher resolution on here. Well, here being a Wii U emulating a Master System, but on the Master System, the game runs at a much higher resolution than the little Game Gear screen, so that was my fault, actually. That one was bad. But yeah, I think we get to use, I thought we had to use a continue there, but we didn't. If you get a shield in the previous level, it will carry over into the boss fight, which is nice, but we didn't have a shield, unfortunately. Wouldn't have really helped, because, again, this fight's easy. It's just that the hitboxes are kind of big on the ball things, and I haven't played this game in forever. I used to play this game all the time, actually. Like, it was one of my favorite Sonic games for a long time. That opinion changed over time, and I grew a little more. It's not a bad game at all. I think it's really good. I don't think the hitboxes on those balls are good, but I think the game itself is super solid. Yeah, I don't really care. We have a bunch of continues. I hit start, but actually the Master System doesn't have a start button. There's a pause button on the console, which is what this emulates. But if you actually look on a Master System controller, it's just button 1 and button 2, which is, you know, kind of neat, actually. The Master System controller, I don't like it. I don't like the D-pad because it's a big square, but I do like the buttons. They have a very solid feel to them. And you can use them on the Genesis, too. I've beaten chunks of Sonic 2 with the Master System controllers, just because I wanted to see if I could. And it's fine, it's functional. I just don't like the D-pad at all. I think it's one of the worst D-pads Sega ever made. Which is mostly just due to Sega usually making really, really good D-pads. I love Sega's D-pads, almost as much as I love some of Nintendo's D-pads. They are really, really good controllers. Like the Genesis 6-button in particular is one of my favorites. And consequently, the Saturn controller, that was stupid of me. They're really, really good controllers. The Dreamcast controller's D-pad is a little meh. It's like really slippery and gross, but the they're good disc-shaped D-pads that were kind of their trademark from the Genesis through the Saturn. Are just awesome to play with. They feel super good, including on the 3-button controller. I just never liked the 3-button Genesis controller. To me, it's such a lame controller. I don't know what it is about it that just always threw me off. No one else seems to mind it much. Whoa, that was a strange clip. No one else seems to mind it. It seems like a pretty popular controller. But for me, like, 6-button any day. It's so much. I mean, there are a bajillion 6-button controller variants, so it's not super fair to just say 6-button, because it's more of an umbrella term. But for me, it's just such a nice controller, like the original 6-button Genesis controller that was released to play Street Fighter and other games, but basically Street Fighter. It's such an incredible controller to me. Even in games where it doesn't get any use. Man, I'm doing terribly at this boss fight for absolutely no reason. But yeah, I adore that controller, and I use it for a lot of games. Obviously, it's my primary Genesis controller. I have a 3-button and a 6-button. I have 2 Genesis controllers. As well as some, like, third-party ones, but those are my official Sega ones, and, like, yeah, I always go for the good 6-button one, even when I'm playing stuff like Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, which were released in the days of the 3-button, just because I think that it's not as good of a controller as the 6-button. And obviously that How did I die from that one? This boss fight's infuriating me because I'm not timing it wrong. I'm just dying from, like, hitboxes from already destroyed things I should be able to stand in. Anyway, if I game over in Sonic 1 on the Master System, I will hand in my credentials as a Sonic streamer that I don't have because I don't want to be a Sonic streamer. But still, I will be pretty outraged with myself and my own lack of any kind of skill, because I usually don't even die in this game. But I'm live, so of course I have to be as bad as possible. But no, I think the I'm actually playing this with a classic controller on the Wii, which has my favorite D-pad on any controller. This is my favorite controller for 2D games. And I also use it on PC sometimes. It's such a good controller. On Master System, or on Game Gear, this boss fight is the easiest one in the game almost, other than the first one where he doesn't do anything at all. But no, wow, I'm almost dead. I actually have to, like, really try. I really better not game over. I'll be outraged. This music here is so good, though. All the music in this game is really, really good. To my knowledge, the only things that are, like, recycled are the main Sonic theme, like da-da-da-da-da-da, because, you know, of course it is. And then the, again, that totally didn't touch me. But that theme and the, Green Hill Zone theme are the only tracks that are the same. And obviously the Green Hill Zone version sounds a little different because it's on 8-bit hardware and not 16-bit, but it is the same song. Whereas the, again, with those strange hitboxes. Well, that was a weird rebound off Eggman. It wasn't so much the hitbox's fault. But, the strange thing about the, I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, yeah, about the music in this game. It's not strange. It's just super good. Like, I don't like Master System music that often. But I really like this soundtrack and other Sonic soundtracks from the console. I swear, no matter what I do, it, like, homes in under me. Or that's game over, I think. Like, proper game over. We actually have to restart. I wonder if there is a level select. I'm gonna look that up, because I'm curious. Because I will use it. I don't think there are cheat codes in this version. But I don't want to redo, like, half the game because of one boss. There might be cheats for it. Oh, there are. Cool. So it's, up, down, down, right, left, 1. Did I do it? I'm gonna say we didn't. Okay. But there are cheats, so we don't have to replay half the game, which is good because this game's ridiculously easy, but I'm also awful at it, so. Cheats in this game are weird. Okay, let's try it. I don't know what that did. I don't think it did anything. I think it was stupid and wrong. I'm angry. I don't want to redo the entire game. I'm just holding in the R button to see what happens. Hang on a sec. I will look into it real quick, because I wouldn't be surprised if there were cheats. I'll stand up here so that the game doesn't kill me, but I wouldn't be surprised if there were. No, those were Sonic Chaos cheats I was looking at. Okay. There probably are codes. No, I don't want Game Genie codes. Huh, there really aren't any cheat codes in this game. How weird is that? That actually really surprises me. Okay. Well, I guess we can still make it work, because this game's really short. It only took 20 minutes, but I don't want to redo half the game. That's no fun. It makes me feel foolish, because this is the easiest Sonic game of them all, arguably. Other than Chaos. Chaos is easier, but still. That is outrageous. Although that boss fight was being broken. I'm sorry, that was not on me. Because I breezed through everything else. But that was irritating. Alright. I'm very surprised about the fact that there aren't any cheat codes in this game, but Sonic Retro doesn't have cheat codes. Then there aren't cheat codes. Yeah, no, that's just surprising. Again, it's not really a big deal, because it'd only take me a couple minutes to get back there. Probably like 10, but still strange, isn't it? It was a Sonic reference, I'm proud of that. If you, like, make the shortest possible jumps here, you won't die, and you can speed through it a little faster, unless that's just in the Game Gear version, because Sonic's slightly different size in it. That could very well be. I love that sound effect that Sonic makes whenever he falls through the floor there. I like the sound design of this game in general, which I think I've said like a bajillion times by now, but it's just everything about it is very pleasing to listen to. But we'll make sure to rake in as many continues as we can from the special stages, which I was already doing, but I thought I would need them like later in the game. So I usually get bored of this game and stop playing it around like 2 levels later. But in this case, it was like instantaneous demise. That was miserable. But oh well. No, I didn't want to come up here. I wanted to get the Chaos Emerald. Well, screw it. I guess we're not going for the Chaos Emeralds then. Because I don't want to go back. Well, I guess I will get the Chaos Emerald if I fell down again. I think we need to go up one more. Yeah. Okay, well, I landed on the spring, so we're going this way anyway. Platform tends to help because I don't want to fall to my demise there. Ugh, the signpost jumps whenever you get near it, and that's just irksome in this instance because it like leapt over me. So let's rake in the continue, why not? Although I don't think there is a continue in the first special stage. I could be wrong about that, but I feel like there isn't. I think it's only like special stage 2 onwards. In this one you just get lives, which are helpful, I guess, but not as helpful as a continue would be. I don't know, maybe there's just one up there, because I didn't go to the top route of this area yet. Oh yeah, there is, because this is the Sega logo and there's a continue. I knew that. I actually do remember that being a thing. Because I remember as a kid I was outraged because they had Sega written in it, and I was like, that's just arrogant and stupid. And now I'm like, who cares? It's a Sonic game. They're all a little bit dumb. Not a little bit, a lot of them are very dumb. See, if I would have just run, it would have gone over me, but since I jumped into it, I was in the air, it worked out better. It's very strange. But yeah, I'm incredibly bad at classic Sonic games, if you can't tell. I love them to death. But like, don't expect me to ever play competently, which is fine because again, this game is very short, so I think I'm forgiven if I die about a bajillion times. Wish Eggman would just come down here so I can murder him though. At least this boss fight goes by very quickly. Oh, I was hoping to hit him once there, but I didn't. So we just need to be hit 2 more times, which we have to wait for, so I will stand here and do a little jig. In the Game Gear version, he would be much closer to me. If I did the Game Gear version, it actually would have gone a lot better, but again, this version looks nicer to me, and I think it's more fun to play. The Game Gear version's a bit easier, though, in a lot of ways. The screen crunch is pretty irritating, and that's the main reason I didn't do that version. It's kind of funny how the Green Hill background is so simplistic and basic here, as opposed to the version in the proper main Genesis version of this game, where it is incredibly complex and layered, and arguably the best part visually of Sonic 1 is Green Hill Zone. That was the whole point of it, was to be this incredible showcase for what the Genesis could do, and it absolutely is. Although I think later versions kind of get weird and annoying with it, because they like change the scrolling so that certain parts are always scrolling as opposed to only when the player moves, and to me it just seems weird and jarring. I'm not sure why they did it, and I don't even remember what it is. I know it's the sky that scrolls differently, and I don't think it looks nearly as good. So yeah, Sonic still has his rolling momentum, which is good because Sonic 4 didn't have that, so this is more like a classic Sonic game than Sonic 4 is, presumably because it's a classic Sonic game, and technically a version of the first, because some people do consider this a version of Sonic 1 in the same, like, as the same game. I sort of see it as its own thing, because it is, to me, a completely different game. I mean, it is a different game in general. It's a different development team, and everything about it is different functionally and visually. But let's give it 4 bounces, and on the 4th bounce, we're going to go right, because I think this takes me to an extra life. Yeah, it does. Cool. We'll drop back down. I actually don't want to get 100 rings, because, I don't know why you bother to get the emerald, because I didn't get the first one. But, at 100 rings, it actually resets your ring counter, which is fine, because it's Mario style, but I was hoping to get, the special stage so I could get a continue here. To build up, I guess, so I can use them against the horrors that is the very easy boss of Jungle Zone, because I'm just not playing competently tonight, which, you know, seems pretty standard, actually. Sonic, quit ricocheting. God. Remember when I really wanted Bridge Zone to show up in Sonic Generations as DLC? I was, like, set on it. I was like, Bridge Zone or bust, and now I'm like, why did I want Bridge Zone? I like Bridge Zone a lot. It's just, you know, what does it do to warrant being in Generations? I mean, I guess it doesn't do any less than, like, some of the other levels do. But, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a particularly special choice. But I was, like, set on it. I was like, it needs to be there. And then it never was. And I was legitimately pretty annoyed about it. Because I thought Generations DLC is going to be the future. And then we never actually got any. Except for, like, that pinball minigame, if you have the PC version, or you pre-ordered it at GameStop. And that pinball minigame's pretty cool, actually. It works really well. It's just, if you can get it with the main game for $5 if you're buying it on Steam right now, which I do recommend doing, because Generations is great, the PC version is the best version, and why not? It's $5. It's cheaper than it normally is. I think it's normally a $20 game, which is also worth it, because, you know, Sonic Generations is great. Sonic, stop it. You strange creature, you. I mean, he is actually a strange creature. It sounds like I'm just being insulting, but he is bizarre. I mean, hedgehogs aren't typically blue. I'm not sure if you guys knew that. Just a little anatomy factoid for you. Those enemies don't normally appear here. Like, well, they do appear here, but, I mean, like, they don't normally appear, like, in the grass areas in the Genesis games. It's a, Spring Yard Zone enemy, the little pink snail boy, and, I just find it interesting because, realistically, this is much more of an appropriate environment for a snail, right? But no, this is not where they would be in the Genesis version, because this is very Green Hill-esque. It's the closest thing to Green Hill. Like, it's closest to Green Hill in terms of aesthetic to anything else in the game. I didn't know there was a life down there. We're not going to get it, but I didn't know that was there. Man, this music is so good, though, isn't it? Like, honestly, no matter what your opinions on the game as a whole are, because most people seem to generally like Sonic 1 8-bit just fine, but that's it. It's fine. Like, it's nothing special to them, which is kind of where I'm at to an extent. But man, the music is great. I'm trying to be careful, because I really do not want to, get 100 rings, because, again, I don't want my ring counter to reset to 0. I'll wait for this to go, I think. Pretty sure if you just stand on the edge of the screen, you'll just die, because it doesn't push you fast enough, so you have to wait until the bridge is a certain way across, or else you'll die from trying too hard to run to the end, and you'll just hit the screen and stop dead. And it's great design, right? Special stage, and I like how it makes the special stage bumper sound. Not the main bumper sound, but it's like the weird big candy looking bumpers. I don't know, you won't see what I'm talking about. Or you won't see what I'm talking about, depends. Yeah, that. I guess they make the same sound, never mind. I think technically, Spring Yard Zone, if you count it, would be equal to this, but this is like the first real pinball area in a Sonic game. People usually think of Sonic 2 for that. Oh, Sonic, calm down. Jeez, okay. Jeez, okay. That's great. This is the best situation for me to be in right now. Oh my god. I just want to get to the end so I can keep the continue I got. There's no way I'm going to, is there? I think I'm locked here. Yep. Sonic is stuck. Oh, nope, there he goes. And they said this game doesn't have physics. I have seen people complain about this game's physics as not being, like, very reactive, and I'm like, okay. Oh my god, I made it. I thought for sure I did not make that, but... Which Sonic fan game would that be if you're still watching, by the way, Mason? Because I have no idea which one you're talking about. And now on to the Bridge Zone boss, who we won't die to, at least. Because I remember the timing now. And the positioning for it. Jungle Zone, though, no promises. He's invincible. He's a god. I thought you could get 4 hits on him, but I could be wrong about that. I'm not going to try it. I thought you could. But it would seem not. And he's dead, though, so that's nice. Pretty sure there's a copy of this game somewhere in my family, like, floating around. This game's really expensive. If you aren't aware, a US copy of this game's like $100 loose, I think, or if not more, which is very, very pricey, obviously, for a Master System game. Usually the Master System stuff, it gets pricey. Doesn't usually get that pricey. So, it's just because Master System is not a super popular console, and it's Sonic. So, you know, it's a very popular series on a semi-obscure console. Like, I feel like there are people who only know about the Master System because of its Sonic games, which is kind of a shame, because it has some really solid stuff. The Wonder Boy games are good. Has a lot of really good arcade ports of Sega games. Don't really care about Alex Kidd. I think those games are pretty boring, but they're fine. We just gotta wait for the logs. Yep, there we go. Very, very Mario 2. I think I said earlier. But yeah, I don't know why they use, like... I question, like, the philosophy behind designing this game. I don't think it's a bad thing. I like the fact it's very platforming heavy. But I question what made them decide, hey, let's make it completely a platform. Like, I know hardware restrictions, yes, but the other 8-bit Sonic games are much more, speedy. This one doesn't even have loops. There are no loops in this game whatsoever. To my knowledge, it is the only 2D Sonic game without any loops. I swear that log usually is accompanied by a bunch more. I do not know I was the only one that came down. But, I mean, it didn't really matter. We're taking a different route this time because actually going through the level instead of just skipping everything, which is what I did last time. It didn't really affect much. But there is level design up here in case you don't just skip it all. I want to take the shortcut, the speedy shortcut. I meant to hit down, but I didn't. Well, it was great. It was a great speedy shortcut. Thanks, game. But yeah, getting 50 rings to get to a special stage in this game. I don't think it's hard in this game to get 50 rings to get to a special stage. But, it's not really worth it most of the time unless you're actively trying to get, like, continues. I died. I do think you actually have to recollect the checkpoints every time you, Oh, okay, I guess we're going fast here. Well, we went too fast. G falls off a bridge zone. Yeah. I think you actually have to... I think you actually do have to recollect the checkpoint every time. I'm not completely sure, but the checkpoint monitor respawns, and it always put me on edge, so I always just recollect it. Recollect more like, well, just redo it again. I love the ramp jump sound effect in this game. It's very satisfying. It's just a very, like... basically like a spin dash release sound, I guess. It's a very nice sound clip, though. And I rather enjoy it. I will endlessly praise the sound design of the 8-bit Sonic games. I think all of them are great. Even Sonic Labyrinth, which is pretty famously not a good game, has really, really nice music. Hey, look, we got some rings. It doesn't matter, but cool. It's all for score, which... do we care about score? Like, realistically? No, but still. Do you have to start over if you don't collect the checkpoint? Okay. I mean, I just wasn't sure, because again, I've never not gotten the checkpoints whenever I died in 8-bit Sonic games. Since this is like one of the easiest games in the entire franchise, I did have to game over and start the game over. Just because, you know, whenever you're playing such a famously simplistic game, you can't do well on stream. You can do well and then die to an easy boss fight. Repeatedly until the end of time. So, that's basically what happened. So I'm going for as many rings as I can for the sake of trying to nab myself some continues. Not that I usually would need them when I'm playing the game casually by myself, but I mean, potentially. I'm not gonna say, like, oh, I'm so good at this game is only because I'm streaming. No, I suck at video games. Like, make no mistake. I'm never gonna claim to be good at them. It's just, I will be claimed to be good at some, and this is usually one I am decent at. But then again, I haven't really played it in a long time, because I don't know about anyone else. I don't really go back to the 8-bit Sonic games all that often. I do play them. I like them. They're good. It's just not something I would normally go super far out of my way for. That spring would be guaranteed death, I think, so, you know, be careful getting that life. And obviously I'm being pretty careful with my jumping here, because if we fall, even though there's clearly platforms below us, death awaits us, and that's always fun. But I'm pretty sure that's basically the end of the level, because we reached the top of the waterfall. So let's just head into that special stage and be on our way. I do like the Sonic icon for, like, the HUD, like the extra life icon on the bottom left there. It's just a pleasant little picture of him. I don't know. He looks pretty happy. And I like a happy Sonic. He's a happy, chipper guy. I'm trying to remember where the continue is in the special stage, I think. Because I already went through the special stage. It should be like, yeah, it's right there. Cool. There should be extra lives here. Yeah, I think you only get one of them, though, which is lame. Like, why have two there just to tease you? That's stupid. But whatever. You always get the Eggman monitor in special stages, I think. You might be able to get, like, the ring monitor and stuff. I'm not completely sure. But I'm fairly sure it's just the Eggman monitor. So, I always thought it was very funny. Because it's, like, they're setting you up for, like, greatness, and then you just get Eggman, and you're like, oof. Bad day. Alright, so this boss made me actually restart the game. And I don't want to play through 20 minutes of the game again, so let's see if we can't beat him. Probably really quickly, just because now, not that I don't know how to do it, I'm just going to be super careful and avoid these things like the plague, because their hitboxes are like twice the size of the sprites. And they last long after they poof away, so that's terrible design, and I hate it. And I'm paranoid, and it makes this boss that I usually actually kind of like, because I just like dodging things like this. Because it's just about jumping patterns then. Like that. That's great design, isn't it? Isn't that the best hitbox? Ugh, I'm starting to sound like a bitter, angry Sonic fanboy. I need to not do that. Alright. Let's be happy and peaceful like I normally am. I'm also exhausted because I just got out of work. But, let's see what we got. I thought I could get a hit on them there. I do like Eggman's sprites in this game, so it looks like he has very buck teeth, which is in a lot of his art. He has, like, these big old teeth. I don't think they're supposed to be buck teeth. Although, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog gave him buck teeth. So maybe that is something. Like, obviously, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog isn't, like, the main design of the character, but maybe they saw the same thing I do. Because I wouldn't be surprised if they used got some influence from the 8-bit versions as well as the 16-bit games. Like, I mean, I don't know if they did or not, obviously, because I don't have the design docs from the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon, but it wouldn't be surprising. It would make a lot of sense, since, you know, why wouldn't they pull from every resource they had available for what was essentially just you basing it off video game sprites? Man, that was actually unbeatable for me. I swear I mean, obviously it's RNG where the stupid balls end up, and this is the only RNG fight I think the game has, because their patterns are completely randomized. So, except for the first one, which always seems to detonate right in the middle. Maybe they do go on the same patterns every time, and he's got to try and avoid these bad later patterns. I'm surprised I survived there, actually. Okay, but I didn't survive there. Although that one was entirely my fault. Could just try and go for broke and hit him as many times as I can. Like, as quickly as possible. Like, no strategy, no timing, no patience. Just try and go in for a very skillless, murderous rampage of hitting him at every single possible opportunity. Probably won't go well for me, but I can try it. I wish his hitbox was just a tiny bit bigger, since mine's apparently the size of, like, a small planet. Well, now it's not going so badly. I'll still lose, but, you know, at least I'll lose and... Oh, no, I beat him. That only took me, like... I'm going to count that as 50 minutes, because that's how far the stream is along, and I did game over to him, like, 8 times or something, so that's pretty great. Ah, thank God. I may literally think of him if next time I have a drink and just be like, man, these are the sorrows I wash away with alcohol, which would be, that'd be a good thing in my eyes, because that means I'm setting the bar pretty low. But we are almost at the end of the game now. We are at the second half, which is why we have the second map screen. From here, it starts being a little more like the, this is a great track as well. It's a little closer to the Genesis version again, because we got Labyrinth Zone, which sucks. This is really bad. Because it's even slower. It's slow to the point that, like, even the, it causes slowdown to the game itself, I think, when you're underwater. So, like, look at the timer. It's not gonna go at a perfect, like, second per second at times. It will slow down. Right now it's fine, but it gets really bad. Underwater is not friendly in this game at all. It is one of the worst water levels in any Sonic game ever. The 8-bit version of Labyrinth Zone. I didn't know the spike glitch existed in this game. That's kind of cool. I didn't know that. Huh. But anyway, this version of Labyrinth Zone is abysmal. It is very, very poor. Again, the rest of the game, pretty easy. This level is hard purely on, like, your patience, because you're not going to want to sit through this. On the bright side, since everything lags, it takes, like, an eternity for Sonic to start drowning, which is great, I guess, in, like, a cheating kind of way, but yeah, even the music is going to lag out and sound horrible. Like, it's really, really, really unpleasant to play. And he's dead again. Oh, he's not. I guess the spike glitch doesn't exist in the game. I didn't think it would. So we are already drowning now. I didn't think we would be for a while. So we just gotta wait for a bubble to spawn. We're at the bubble thing, so I'm not worried about it. Bubble? Bubble, please. Although it's been at 3. It's going at like 3 and 2 for like minutes at a time. So that's not, you know, too worrisome. The spikes animate a lot more smoothly in this version than in the Genesis version. In the Genesis version, they straight up just, I think it's like a 1-frame thing. But here they actually do like animate in and out. So that's kind of cool. Grab the checkpoint and bounce on our good old friend, pre-rendered Spring. Hey, he did the weird jumpy glitch from the 16-bit version. I didn't know that was a thing. Huh. Hi there, Orbinaut. What you gonna do, huh? Do you launch your little ball boys at me? Yes, you do. I do not have time for this. I'm going to get air. You suck, Orbinaut. You're the worst. There we go. I'm assuming his balls will have despawned. Yeah. Well, that went about exactly how I would have expected. Oh, okay, that actually went worse than I expected it to. Oof. I guess we'll wait for another air bubble. Yep. This level's not good. Though, to their credit, I think they did improve the underwater gameplay of the later 8-bit Sonic games, because it never reaches the depths and pain of 8-bit Labyrinth Zone again. Fortunately, because otherwise, like, that would be unforgivable. But yeah. At least the other version of Labyrinth Zone had some extra paths and stuff. Like, not many, but it was a little less linear than this. You are stuck along the path the game set forth for you. It does include, to their credit, it has, like, all the, interesting gimmicks and stuff of the, console versions. You got the spinning spike boys, you got the, but not the Orbinauts, not like the spinny spike enemies, those are called Orbinauts. I'm not talking about those guys. I mean, like, it's got the, spinning spike balls that attack you. It's got the, obviously the water and the drowning, which is horrible. It's got different music. I actually do like the 16-bit music a lot better. Anytime the water, like, sprite here is on screen, it just lags out horribly. But, yeah, no, this stage is really bad. You need to build up momentum when you're running here. So, it's hard to build up said momentum, and then there's a spike ball there that will hit you if you're on the platform. This is one of the worst levels in any Sonic game, in my honest opinion. I hate it. This is usually where I stop playing, because I'm like, alright, I'm done. This is boring, but for the stream, we'll persevere, unless I get bored and stop, in which case I'll be like, Labyrinth Zone sucks, and then I won't do anymore. Which is possible, I suppose. But yeah, everything just lags out in this level. It is atrocious. But again, it does include all of the games, like all the main version's main gimmicks of Labyrinth Zone. So it's got switches, It's got the spike balls. It's got the weird little fire-breathing things, like the wall spikes. Hey, Shiny. Like, you know, in general, it does a decent job imitating Labyrinth Zone, except for the lag. And you shouldn't want to imitate Labyrinth Zone to begin with, because Labyrinth Zone is awful. So, yeah, it's a questionable decision. Of all the levels to include, I'm not sure why Labyrinth Zone is one they decided to go with, since they don't include, like, every level. Again, it's not a straight recreation of Sonic 1. It's actually very much the opposite. It's completely its own game with certain elements just taken from it. But yeah, this level is really, really bad. There are very few Sonic levels I truly dislike. There are a lot that I'm not into, you know, that I'm mixed on that I think are boring or whatever. But, like, this is the only one where it almost drags the whole game down with it. Screw you, Orbinaut. I don't care. Okay, I guess I kind of have to care. This enemy is terrible. Where are all the rest of its balls? Did it send all of them at once? What happened? Well, I'm drowning, so that's not ideal. Yeah, whatever. There's air here, so as long as we can get a good jump in. If that didn't lead to anything? Ugh. I didn't even realize this was like a maze level. Again, I usually quit playing at this level, so from here on out, I know the other levels. I know what they are. It's Scrap Brain and then the weird flying Mario 3 style airship level. It's just, yeah, this is a bad stage. We got an extra life, I think. Hey, look, Burrowbot. I like Burrowbots. Burrowbots are good. There we go. That's more like it. We got ourselves a bubble. We have rings, so I'm not even worried about drowning. Or not drowning, about getting hit by enemies. This is perfect, except for the part where it runs at like 8 frames per year. Again, many of the same traps are present from the console version, just in glorious 8-bit unplayability. I think the Game Gear version, if I remember, is worse. For whatever reason, which it shouldn't be. In theory, it should be better because there's less on screen. But it actually performed worse. Although I do think the Game Gear is slightly more powerful than the Master System, so I don't know what the excuse was for that. Can you run through this? Nope. Okay. You can in the Genesis version, but, you know, this isn't the Genesis version, so I didn't really expect you to be able to, but it would have been nice. Let's slowly get a checkpoint. Slowly make our way up. Slowly start to drown, but there's so much lag that it doesn't even matter because the timer doesn't even go down in time. Like, it's off by, like, a full second right now. It would be nice if the bubble came. Yeah, there we go. God, Sonic went almost, like, at a speed for a second there, like, an identifiable movement rate. That would have been nice. I guess I shouldn't ask for nice things from Labyrinth Zone, Sonic 1, Game Gear, and Master System. It probably makes it sound like I really don't like this game. I love this game. This is one of my favorite classic Sonic games, actually, like, on a personal level. It just means a lot to me, but it's not good to play. Oof. I do hate the fact you can't recollect rings, though. That sucks, and that's a legitimate gripe I have with this game, and thankfully none of the other Master System Sonic games. They did all fix that. Yeah, this one does not let you recollect rings that you've lost, so there's enough of them throughout the levels that it shouldn't really matter, but it is something worth noting. If I remember, there's a Chaos Emerald, like, right here in the Game Gear version. It's elsewhere in this version. I didn't care because I didn't get the Green Hill Zone Emerald, so I'm not going for all of them. Because, again, I got frustrated by being bounced around on the spring and said, screw it! Just like that, even in the Segatone. That's not true. I did not do that. I should have, though. But now we're on the boss of Labyrinth Zone. I don't remember what this is. But we are underwater, which gives me some pause. Springs in this version are a little less responsive since, again, they're not actually, like, part of the, game environment. They're part of the game's environment rather than being, sprites in their own right. I'm guessing there's a shield over here, maybe? Well, we're gonna find out, because that's something I want to do. I like platforming. Let's see if we can get in there. As Sonic trods along at, like, 1 mile per decade. This is what Sonic Labyrinth would be like as a 2D platformer, I think. Oh, it's just an extra life. I didn't need an extra life. I mean, I do now because I lost one getting here, but ugh, whatever. If I remember, this might actually not... But I hit the button for like a fraction of a second. I don't think you can drown in this area. I'm pretty sure it operates by different things. It's got the water physics, which means you go very slowly, but it doesn't actually have anything else present in terms of water issues. So no drowning, which is obviously a good thing. We cannot go back and get that life again. It despawned. Oh yeah, this fight. I remember this one. Oof. I did not have nearly enough elevation there. So Sonic's bounce on anything in this game is relative to the height he came at it from, which is a good thing. Fixed bounces are bad, which is an issue a lot of the later 2D Sonic kind of things have. Apparently you cannot bounce back from that, so you gotta wait until he's above you. That's fine. Again, at this point we're just experimenting. I haven't done this part of the game in years because I find the this level to be such a drag. I usually just stop playing it because it kills the pace for me. That's why I know like the other levels really, really well, and I don't know anything about this level really other than that it exists, and I don't like it because it's not fun. So I guess we gotta hit Eggman when he comes up here. He does attack us though, so I gotta be careful. Oh, okay, that wasn't such a big deal. That didn't really do anything. Just make sure we're on this side so that he drops it and then it shoots the way that we're not going. Well, this is going to be super easy. Okay. Again, all the bosses... Okay, he timed that really very, very differently. Or I'm bad at the game. It's one of the two. We still have 3 continues, so I'm not worried about that. But, and then Sonic starts this slow, sad journey over to Eggman again. Again, it's nice that you can't drown, but if this actually like ran at like normal Sonic 1 Game Gear speeds... I say as I played the Master System version, but if this ran at the normal speed the game runs at, it wouldn't be a problem. I guess it's my fault. I could have just waited in time to jump around what Eggman's doing. Just jump over here. Hit him 2 more times. I probably could hit him more than 2 times, but I don't want to risk it. Go over here again. Okay, this fight's actually stupidly easy, and I just suck. Yep, that's the moral of the story. I'm not good at video games. Who would have guessed that one? I'm sure there's a game out there I'm good at. It'll be something weird like Bubsy 3D or something. I'm actually really bad at Bubsy 3D. I don't think anyone's good at Bubsy 3D. Did I only take 6 hits in this version? Could have sworn I only hit him 6 times. Maybe it's just this fight. I don't know. Because if it's on a boss-by-boss basis, that's a little different. We're now heading into Scrap Brain, which is much easier than the Genesis version. I don't know if anyone remembers the struggle that was the Genesis version of Scrap Brain on stream. I mean, I got through it. I just took a lot of damage and ran straight through. But here it's much easier, and I like the music a lot. Again, that's going to be a theme in this whole game. Well, not going to be. We're pretty much at the end of the game. I'm kind of happy I had to start over because it meant I could stretch the stream out because it would have been almost... It might have been over by now had I not had that game over issue in Jungle Zone. But again, they include most of the same like gimmicks and hazards as the Genesis version, just spaced out much simpler, and it's an overall much easier stage as a result. Although I think Act 2 is something of a maze, if I remember, which I remember finding very irksome. I could be wrong about that. I recall it being that way. Hopefully I'm wrong, actually, because that would suck. That'd be a downer. This is not the last zone of the game, unlike the, yeah, that was like nothing, right? Compared to the Genesis version, that was super easy. It was actually the easiest stage we've had in a while. But, I love Sonic's mouth on the goalpost. He's just got a big old smile, but again, we're not going to see a bunch of that because that only shows up when you get an extra life, and I forget the stipulation for that. But, yeah, so I'm pretty sure this is a maze, if I recall. I hope I'm wrong, because I don't like mazes, but I think it is, where there's like various doors and everything, and it's just not super entertaining for anyone. A bit like the end of Subspace Emissary, except better than that, because no one liked the Great Maze. I say that, but there's probably people in the chat right now who are like, I love the Great Maze, it's super good. And I'm like, cool, you're entitled to that opinion. I disagree with you. Again, momentum builds really fast when you're rolling in this version of the game. It's very, very, very speedy. See? Too speedy. We're dead. We're not dead. I don't know where this led. This is a teleport to here, apparently, wherever here is. Holding right. Will it lead to anything? Nope. Okay, let's go left. Yeah, this is the maze I was thinking about. I don't like this part because I don't know the layout. Oh, wait. Was that the end? No, let's take the top because we went the bottom path last time. I think that's the same area. Don't ask why I felt the need to use the turbo button there and just jump up it. I thought it was funnier. Although I should be somewhat careful because I thought the invincibility frames would last like twice as long there. That's my bad. We did clip through an area earlier. No, I didn't realize the doors acted as checkpoints in this version. That's kind of nice. Or not in this version, but in this stage. I dig it. I wish it had more forgiving checkpoints in general. Hey, Caterkiller! A very small, adorable Caterkiller. I love the enemies in this game because they're all too small and they're very cute. Unintentionally, I think. Like, I think Sonic intentionally has adorable enemies. It's not that's unintentional. Huh. Okay. Let's see where this teleporter leads. Okay. We don't get to use that teleporter. I guess we're going back this way again. Which I didn't really want to do, but okay. Because again, I have no idea what's happening. I don't know this level layout at all. Please don't. We're going to so land on that Caterkiller and die, aren't we? Oh, almost. Okay. It's cute. It's dead. Because it concerned me. Oh, wait, what's down here? Man, I told you, this whole thing's a maze, and I hate mazes in games like this. This looks like it could be the end of the level, right? It's not. It's the Chaos Emerald. I didn't really want the Chaos Emerald, but alright. Oh, that's the door right there. Okay. So we got 2 emeralds. I knew where the rest were. Oh, we fell down and died. That's always good. I mean, that was my fault. I just didn't know that it was going to be a bottomless pit because the far right wasn't. Well, we hit that switch, so let's go left again and see what happens. Hope we don't carry momentum out. No, we don't. Good. Like, in theory, it would be more impressive if we did, but, you know, from a gameplay perspective, it wouldn't be quite as good. Why Sonic change directions in which way he's facing sometimes? It's kind of odd. No idea where we're going. No idea what we're doing. Don't really need to, though, because we're never going to figure out the maze conveniently. We're just going to experiment until we leave the level by complete happenstance eventually. I am paranoid because I don't have any rings, and we haven't really encountered any rings in a while. Let's see if this is the end of the level. Please be. Nope, that's not the end of the level. This is... Oh. This looks like it's actually probably relevant. I died. Hopefully that teleporter acts as a checkpoint. It does. Yay. That's actually shocking, and I'm pleased. That may well be the end of the level, because that felt like the kind of puzzle that would end a Sonic level. Or, like, the opposite. Like, it's just not anything. Nope, that's the end of the level. Sick. Cool. We hit another signpost. We are doing pretty well. And we're almost on Scrap Brain. It's not the last level of this version. There is another one after it with a very easy final boss. At least I recall it being very easy. Might be super hard for all I know. But yeah. This yet another maze level. I'd be angry. I don't want mazes. Oh, no, this is the maze I was thinking of. That's a different maze in the last level. I don't remember that level at all. This is the maze that you actually have to, like, puzzle your way through. I do appreciate them including some, rings to show you where to go, because otherwise you would never think to jump into the bottomless pit because, you know, the game kind of trains you to not do that sort of thing. I remember beating this one time in, like, a very short order. It was a couple seconds. Not literally a couple seconds, but it felt like a couple seconds. It did not take long. And then other times where it took me, like, an eternity. Why even have the spring back up just to, like, rub it in that I screwed up the, level path? It's a strange thing to do. The music of this game is almost Castlevania-esque to me, which is a very good thing. It just doesn't. It feels like Sonic music. Don't get me wrong. It's not like it doesn't feel like it belongs in Sonic the Hedgehog kind of way, because it totally does. It's just like randomly different tonally, but super good. So no complaints from me. Oh, hi, Eggman. Bye, Eggman. It sure is a good thing they left the platform that takes him to his special lair there for us to use. And that's what we have instead of another boss fight, which I think is pretty cool. We will obviously have another boss fight against Eggman. We have not yet encountered the final boss. I so could have gotten the emeralds. I just didn't. I don't know where the Labyrinth Zone one is, actually. Like, I would have to actually look, which wouldn't have been fun. But yeah, I don't remember the name of this level. Let me think. I mean, it just said it. It might just be Skybase. I feel like it might be that. But this is a great level as well, because it's something different. It is a unique final stage, which took me by surprise as a kid, because I thought it would just end at Scrap Brain, but no, it keeps going, and it's super good. I actually played this version of Sonic 1 before the Genesis version. Well, not this exact version. Ouch. But the Game Gear version on Sonic Adventure DX, which I played first, and then I got Mega Collection and played the ever-living hell out of the Genesis games, and then eventually I got this as a download on the Wii, which eventually transferred to the Wii U, obviously. But the fact that there was another level with gimmicks that were not from Sonic 1, the electric panel, not panel, but electric line things like that, sort of show up in Sonic CD. Not sort of, they do. I don't know if it's an intentional thing or if it's just a gimmick that different designers thought of that ended up exactly the same. Orbinaut, please throw your things so I can move. Oh my god, Orbinaut, please, hurry. What are you doing? It's like 8 hours of just waiting for this Orbinaut to pass. Oof. Come on. There we go. Are you kidding me, Orbinaut? Really? You turned around then? Yeah, I really like this level, though. It's cool. I don't remember if it's one act or two. Like, I genuinely have no idea how long it goes. I just remember really liking it. If you need to stop for any reason, just jump repeatedly like this. Like for this lightning strike to go away. But no, it's super good. It reminds me a lot of the... Okay, we're dead. This whole thing reminds me a lot of Mario 3's airships. I was going to say Mario Sunshine, but no, not Mario Sunshine. That's irrelevant. But it's a very unique thing for Sonic 1. It doesn't feel like anything else in any other thing in Sonic 1. Like, if you take it as a whole, which I kind of do with this. Like, I consider this to be the companion game. Some people consider it just to be, like, a cash grab. Which it kind of is. Because, realistically, the Master System didn't really need a version of Sonic 1. But I do think the Genesis version is a much better game than this. Like, I honestly think that. But that doesn't mean this is a bad game at all, which I do hear people acting like it is sometimes. Then again, I also hear people acting like it's like the secret best Sonic game, because people really give the Genesis games a little bit of criticism for being overrated, which I disagree, and then give like undying praise to, like, say the 8-bit games or the advanced games as being like these far superior options, which I'm not going to say they're not great games, but I still think the Genesis games trump any of those. I think up there, if we rode that first platform, we would get to the, we should probably jump a little bit so we don't die. Okay. I think there's another one here, yeah. I'd rather not perish. Be nice if I could find some rings. I'm not loving this lack of rings that I'm dealing with right now. Puts me on edge just a little too much for comfort. Doesn't really matter, it's the end of the level. Okay. I love that dun-dun sound that Eggman's signpost makes. Because normally in the Genesis game, obviously, the Eggman signpost is actually just a sign at the end of the level, then you flip it around to Sonic. In this version, it's a little different. The Game Gear games, which again, this didn't start as one, and this isn't even the Game Gear version, but I'm just so inclined to call it the Game Gear version. But it handles things a little differently. This level reminds me a lot of Wing Fortress from Sonic 2, and I am fairly sure it's based off of this stage. Because it does the exact same sort of thing, except without the lag, and I actually kind of like Skybase a little better. It's cool. It's a neat stage. And I didn't realize that was one of those bomb enemies, so I ran into him and jumped. You cannot kill those if you've played a lot of Sonic, you know that. They are just more hazards than they are enemies, despite what the games call them, like they're considered enemies, but really not. I guess I assume those turrets aimed at me, but actually no, they seem to be spinning in a circle. Again, I haven't done this level in forever, but I do like these. I like this final stage. It's good. Everything before and after Labyrinth Zone in this game is super good. It's just that Labyrinth Zone is something else. Like, it is its own level of bad in terms of Sonic levels, I think. 8-bit Labyrinth Zone should not be a thing. Like, it sounds bad from the start, like Labyrinth Zone in 8-bit, but it's worse than you would ever imagine. Okay, please explode. Please explode. Oh my god, are you kidding me? That almost killed me. Running kind of slowly because I don't know what's ahead, and again, Sonic's too far to the right in this version of the game. So I'm just like tapping the button gently because I don't want to run into anything. Oh god, bullets. There was no checkpoints. We got to start over the level. I would really like some rings. Oh, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. That's a game over. I'd really like some rings, please. Rings would be good. I don't even know if there are rings. I think this is just a one-act stage. Or no, it's not, because this is already Act 2. Well, I'm guessing then it will just transition into the final boss right after this, because again, that'll be the last thing we have to do is fight Eggman. Who, at least I remember being very easy. I could be wrong. He could be, like, incredibly difficult. Please explode. Thank you. Okay, there should be nothing in front of us. We should be good to keep running. Keep on running. Okay, we cannot jump through there. Okay, I guess we have to go left here. They very much remind me of Bullet Bill Blasters from Sonic. Okay, I think this is actually to the final boss. Yeah, the final boss is going to be right after this. That level is way easier than I thought, and I was just being paranoid. We will not have any rings at the final boss because, again, it is a Sonic 1 Game Gear / Master System final boss fight. You don't get rings in these boss fights, and it's pretty irksome stuff. Okay. But it won't really matter because this fight is either going to go really well or very badly. I know what it is. We have to jump into Eggman while he's, like, in a jar. And he'll shoot, like, lasers at us and stuff. It's a neat fight, actually. I dig it. There's a lot to keep track of, obviously. It shouldn't be overly difficult if you just time it the same way I am, which is hide in the left, run over and hit him, and then run back over to the left. I like things with, like, predictable patterns like this. They're just fun and cathartic to fight. Sonic 1 Genesis, I think, had the better final boss. It's actually kind of similar in the sense that you're hitting Eggman in a glass tube while running away from, like, electricity attacks. The patterns obviously changed now because now the lightning things are stalking over by the left by me. So let's see what they do now. Oh, that's not great. Okay. Let's hide out over here. Okay, I timed that very poorly. I noticed that the second I hit right on the D-pad, I was like, oh no, I regret that. But yeah, this fight is actually easier than I remember. I remember this being pretty tricky. But no, we can pretty easily get a couple hits on him, I think. If I just, like, focus my, okay, now it's pretty much one hit at a time at this point, I think, but I remember this being a little trickier than it actually is, which is never a bad thing. But I do dig this final boss. It's kind of neat. If nothing else, I like the look of it a lot. Like, the design of everything looks pretty good. Again, we don't really get anything for not getting the emerald, so I don't really care that we didn't. It shouldn't really matter. Oof, that was bad on my part. If I were to game over here, which is possible, I guess, because I only have 1 life left, I think. I don't think I have any continues left. I will just end the stream. We're not going to go through the entire game again over that, but hit him twice there for no roll. Like, it's not fair to him because he can't do anything in that time, but screw it. He's the final boss. We got to do what we can. The only times I really feel like I would ever use save states if I was ever doing stuff would be like during a stream. I don't like save states, but man, I guarantee I'd be spamming them during streams like this if I was emulating stuff more, because like then you guys wouldn't have to suffer through watching things like I played the first half of this game twice on stream, which probably wasn't fun for anyone. I'm gonna die. Okay, I didn't die. Run, Sonic, run. Yeah, we kind of are wrecking him now, I think. Until I jump directly into his shot like an idiot. Is that it? Is that final game over? I think it is. I think we don't have any more. Well, I'm not going to start the game over, so we had to hit him one more time, I think, if I was counting hits right. I really like this game. I might do another stream tonight. I might not. I don't know yet. If not tonight, maybe tomorrow. I'm going to not do anything this weekend. I'm going to be busy as hell this weekend. It's Black Friday weekend, and I work retail. So you won't be seeing much of me then. But if you guys enjoyed, you can always click on the link in the description to join my channel's Discord. You can hear more from me then. I'm actually going to stream this game again at some point with Sonic 2 Master System. I'm going to do them both in one stream because, again, this game's only like an hour long if you don't suck. Even the demo just died. I'm not controlling this. This is just the game's demo. But yeah, we will. This is a game super easy. I'm terrible at it, so don't take what you saw as like the game's hard. It's really, really easy, and I just suck. I'll see everyone around soon. If I stream again tonight, I'll see you all then. If not, have an awesome Thanksgiving. If you're American, and if not, just have an awesome day tomorrow, whatever. But if you are in the U.S., then have an awesome Thanksgiving, and hope you eat a lot of turkey. Man, this demo is terrible at Sonic. Again, channel Discord link in the description below. If you enjoyed and you aren't already subbed, be sure to do so. I will see everyone next time. Bye-bye.